As the world processes the shock of the Pope's passing, attention will inevitably turn to what comes next, both in Rome and beyond. But this moment isn't isolated. Bible prophecy shows us that global shifts, especially in religious leadership, often ripple far beyond borders. While the papacy plays a central role in prophetic history, there is another power that emerges in the final scenes of Earth's story, one that rises far from the ancient centers of Europe. Surprisingly, the Bible points us across the Atlantic to a new nation that would one day join hands with the religious system of the past. To understand what happens next, we must not only look to Rome, but also to America. Let's journey back in time first and then return to the present. The book of Revelation predicts the rise of a mighty nation in Earth's last days. The Apostle John wrote, "I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Revelation 13:11. In prophecy, a beast represents a kingdom or power. This lamb-like beast, innocent and young, points to a new nation founded on Christian-like principles. Prophecy students have long understood this to be the United States of America, which rose as a haven of liberty. Revelation warns that this nation will eventually speak like a dragon. A nation speaks through its laws. So the United States, despite its lamb-like start, will enact oppressive laws like a dragon, a symbol of Satan. It will even use its influence to lead the world to worship the first beast, the power that dominated during the Dark Ages, a union of church and state centered in the papacy. In other words, the United States will one day enforce religious practices that honor the papal power. It will create an image of the beast, a system mirroring that old church-state alliance, and compel everyone to accept a mark of loyalty to that system. The Bible says those who refuse will face severe sanctions, that no man might buy or sell, and eventually as many as would not worship and should be killed. This is a sobering prophecy. A freedom-loving nation will enforce a form of worship contrary to God's command, and a great test will come upon all people. A crisis of worship, the coming test. The coming showdown is about worship, whether we will follow God's way or man's way. God's 10 commandments include the Sabbath command to keep the 7th day holy, Exodus 28-11. But long ago, a powerful religious institution attempted to change God's holy day from the 7th day, Saturday, to the first day, Sunday. This change was made by human authority, not by God. Over time, most Christians accepted Sunday in place of the biblical Sabbath. According to Bible prophecy, this issue of the day of worship will become the defining test, the mark of the beast. The beast represents that church-state power, centered in the papacy, which claims it had authority to change God's law. Its mark will be a law enforcing that change, compelling everyone to honor Sunday instead of the day God sanctified. If you want to explore this topic deeper, watch our video, The Mark of the Beast, It's Not What You've Been Told, linked in the description. Thus, the final question will be, do we obey God's command or man's command? Those who knowingly choose the laws of men over the laws of God will, in effect, receive the mark of the beast. On the other hand, those who remain loyal to God and keep His commandments, including the true Sabbath, will receive God's seal and approval. We ought to obey God rather than men, the apostles declared, Acts 5:29, and that will be the motto of the faithful. A Sunday law that forces people to violate God's Sabbath is how this test will arrive. It will appear to be for the common good, but it will actually be the mark of allegiance to earthly power in rebellion against God. This is the climax of the great conflict between truth and error, a battle for our hearts and worship.